Money stress usually isn't about the numbers themselves. It's about how money quietly sits in your body, in your thoughts, and in the background of your day, even when nothing is technically wrong. It shows up as the quiet anxiety and constant second guessing. That feeling that you should be more relaxed by now, but somehow money still feels like something you need to stay alert around. It's that little pause before you hit buy, even when you technically can afford it because your brain still wants to double check, just in case something goes wrong afterward. Here's the thing most people don't expect. They assume money stress disappears once they earn more, but earning more doesn't automatically teach your nervous system how to feel safe. Because long before your lifestyle ever changes, your mindset changes first. And if that part never catches up, the money never actually feels like enough. My name is Debbie, and I'm always thinking about how money quietly changes the way we think, make decisions, and show up in our everyday lives without us even realizing it. If you're someone who's technically doing fine but still does that little mental math before every purchase, or you're trying to get better with money without turning your life into a spreadsheet, this video is for you. Today, I want to walk you through 3 specific money milestones that change how your brain works. Not flashy numbers, not millionaire moments, just 1,000, 5,000, and $10,000. Before you ever hit your first $1,000 in savings, money feels reactive. It comes in, it goes out, and most of your energy is spent hoping nothing unexpected happens in between. You're not planning long term yet. You're managing moments, juggling due dates, and telling yourself that once things calm down, that's when you'll finally be able to focus on saving. And look, that doesn't mean you're lazy or irresponsible. That's what survival mode looks like when your financial margin is thin and your brain is focused on immediate problems. When you're operating close to zero, your brain prioritizes threats over plans. Psychologists call this scarcity mindset, and it literally narrows your ability to think ahead. Studies from Princeton and Harvard have shown that financial stress can reduce cognitive capacity by the equivalent of losing a full night of sleep, which explains why money decisions feel harder when you're stressed. So when people say things like, just budget better, they're missing what's really happening. You're not bad with money. You're tired, mentally stretched, and constantly reacting. Now here's where the shift starts. When you finally save your first $1,000, nothing about your lifestyle dramatically changes, but something important changes internally. You don't suddenly feel rich. You don't feel fully secure, but you do feel different because for the first time you have proof. Proof that you can save, proof that you can delay gratification, proof that you can follow through. That first $1,000 becomes evidence. Evidence that you can say no, evidence that you can be consistent, evidence that saving is something you actually do now. This is where saving stops being an idea and starts becoming part of your identity. You stop thinking, I should save, and you start thinking, I am someone who saves. That identity shift matters more than the number itself because behavior backed by identity tends to stick, even when motivation fades or life gets busy again. This is why $1,000 matters more than people think. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but $1,000 doesn't really change my life. You're right, it doesn't change your lifestyle, but it absolutely changes your trajectory because it teaches you that saving isn't luck. Now, let's talk about what happens around $5,000. When you reach about 5,000 in savings, the biggest change isn't how much money you have. It's how loud money feels in your head. Because for the first time, it stops yelling. Before this level, every unexpected expense feels urgent and personal, like it's threatening your progress. At 5,000, those moments still matter, but they don't hijack your emotions. Money problems don't disappear here. They just stop screaming for your attention, and that gives your brain enough space to actually think instead of react. That pause you feel before making decisions becomes longer. And that pauses everything, because better decisions usually happen after emotion settles, not while it's still loud. This doesn't mean you suddenly became smarter. It means your nervous system finally has room to breathe. When stress drops, clarity rises. Psychologists call this reduced cognitive load. And it's why emotional spending often slows down at this stage. Not because you're restricting yourself, but because you're no longer using spending to soothe stress. Instead of asking, how do I survive this? You start asking, what's the best move here? Planning finally feels possible. You can look a few steps ahead without panic. But this is also where people get stuck. They hit 5,000 and think they've made it, then slowly stop paying attention and let old habits creep back in. The people who keep building understand this level for what it really is. It's not the finish line, it's the training ground. If you can stay consistent here, even when things feel calm, you set yourself up for the confidence that shows up at the next level. And that brings us to $10,000. When you reach around 10,000 in savings, the shift isn't dramatic or flashy. It's quieter, deeper. This is where confidence starts replacing fear. Not loud confidence, not showy confidence, quiet confidence. The kind that lets you sleep better at night because you're no longer reacting to every small financial surprise. At this stage, money stops feeling like a constant threat and starts feeling like a tool. You're still careful, but you're no longer tense all the time. You begin responding to situations instead of reacting emotionally. And that difference alone changes how you experience money day to day. You're more comfortable waiting, less shaken by ups and downs, and you stop checking your account just to feel okay. Here's what most people miss. The lifestyle difference between $5,000 and $10,000 isn't huge, but the mental difference absolutely is. Because now you have options. You can say no more easily. You can think long term without panic. You can take small risks without feeling reckless. According to Fidelity data, investors with higher cash buffers are significantly less likely to sell during market downturns. Not because they're smarter, but because they're calmer. Confidence doesn't come from returns alone, it comes from resilience. That's why two people earning the same income can feel completely different about their money. Now, you might be thinking, this all sounds great, but I'm not anywhere near these numbers yet. That's okay. This video isn't about where you should be, it's about understanding what progress actually looks like. Because progress isn't just financial, it's psychological. Each stage changes how you think, how you react, how you treat yourself. When you understand the stage you're in, you stop comparing and start building intentionally. And that's how real wealth actually gets built. If this helped you see your money journey differently, subscribe to Infinite Wealth Era. You're not behind, you're becoming. And understanding your stage is how everything starts to change. I'll see you in the next one.